My name is Rick Roth, and I've been a member at Bind since about 2015, if I'm correct on that. So it's been a few years. I've been going. I started out when they were at the old clubhouse, which was right next to the current clubhouse, except for this online is the current clubhouse. So I started way back then, and my injury though was I'm like one of the old injury people. So way back in 2007, my physician, it just so happened he had had a brain aneurysm himself. And so he was probably a little bit more attuned to what was going on. I think most physicians would have just chalked it up. It must be a flu or some kind of bug or something like that, because I had all the symptoms. It was sick to my stomach, and so I had vomited, and I had just a really bad headache. But he was attuned to that, so he decided, you know what, I bet you just got a bug, but just in case, I'm going to send you for a CAT scan. And he sent me for a CAT scan, which it turns out is not diagnostic. It just shows generally what's in there. So as soon as I got the CAT scan, it was like, uh-oh, there's something in there. So then I was immediately sent like a day or two later for an MRI, which is where they inject you with a contrast dye. And so they can see every little blood vessel in your brain. And it was discovered that I had, even though I was up walking around and seemed to be reasonably normal, I may have been having a few cognitive symptoms and just not realized it, but mostly I was okay. And so they ended up finding what they called a central neurocytoma, which is an extremely rare type of tumor, which is so-called benign. That just means it's not a malignant spreading cancerous tumor. It does not mean, benign does not mean it's not a bad thing to have in the middle of your head. So it wasn't until it got so large that it started having headaches. It turned out to be between the size of a golf ball and a racquetball, which if you considered that the brain is about the size, it's maybe about the grapefruit size for a man's head, then that's pretty large, pretty massive. But once it was discovered, my physician immediately sent me to the head of neurosurgery at Baylor. And I had surgery within days after it was discovered because it was so big, they were afraid, it would start causing some real problems. My story, I should say, I was told it was good. I don't know. I haven't read it, but I did write it. And evidently it got to be part of the manual, and people told me it was interesting. So you can read it, whatever is called Rick Roth, something or other. I can't remember the name of it. Does anyone remember what the name? But anyway, it's interesting to read because you find out some details about brain injuries, but specifically mine. And we do have several others, I believe, that are part of the group that had a brain tumor or brain aneurysm, so similar type where they had to have some sort of surgery. Well, I think the book is really neat. I have the first one, so I'm looking forward to getting the second one because I heard that's in color. So if you're thinking about getting one and you're on the fence, think about not only getting it, but getting last time, and it didn't even have pretty color pictures in it. And I got one for like a bunch of different family members for Christmas gifts. And I think they really appreciated them. At the time, my story was not in the original first draft, but they got a lot out of just reading all the different stories of people. So I think this one is going to be even more exciting because it has multiple different formats, pictures and stories, as well as just the stories of the individuals. Oh, I would just say Bind is a pretty neat place. I think it's pretty unique. We have a general lack of these type of facilities in the Dallas area. So I think it's very important that we have that.